Hello everybody and welcome to another top 5 records video. And today I'm going to be talking about one of the major discoveries for me personally from 2021. And it might be strange that they are a major discovery for me because I've been listening to loads and loads of records, and the Beach Boys are actually one of the major and one of the biggest bands in the rock history, and might even be the biggest band from the United States. But I never got into their music until I heard the right pressings of their songs. And it's bizarre, but sound quality and finding the right version of an album really has a major role and a major part in starting to love it. You know, I mean, the emotional reaction to a good record, a good piece of vinyl, is completely different than some digital file somewhere. So I'm gonna give you my top 5 and the pressings which made me fall in love with them. And I'm gonna kick this list off with an unconventional choice, namely Surfer Girl by the Beach Boys. And a lot of Beach Boys fans tend to move more towards the late 60s stuff. And online I even read comments about this phase in their career and people stating that the surf songs are simple and that they did not have enough development. And they might be simple, but what's wrong with having a simple song but delivering it beautifully? As a matter of fact, I think the songs on here, a lot of songs, not all songs, but some songs might be simple, but they create an atmosphere. They create the emotion of an era. And I cannot name another record which captures the California beach culture from the early 60s better than Surfer Girl. I really dig this record. And they did a lot of records with same kind of songs. And you might even say, why not Surfing USA in the list? Great record, great song, but Surfer Girl has one song which gives us a touch of where Brian Wilson would be going later on. And it's a song I really carry in my heart. It's In My Room. It's such a beautiful song. It's remarkable that this early in the career, this early in American culture, that Brian Wilson would write such a developed harmony and such a developed vocal. It's beautiful lyrics. It's a beautiful song. It's one of the most beautiful songs from the 60s, in my opinion. And it's on this record. And I found this one July or August from last year, somewhere in a basement cellar in London. And it is the first British pressing. It's a mono pressing, and it sounds stellar. It is such a great sounding record. It sounds like a time machine, and I really love it. The number 4 on my list. Another Beach Boys album with surf in the title, but completely different. Surf's Up. And Surf's Up is a very, well, I wouldn't call it a dark record per se, but in the line of work of the Beach Boys, this is a much darker record. It has the great melodies, but it's a different kind of Beach Boys. Early 70s, I believe some songs, or at least the song Surf's Up, was from the Smile sessions. It survived that, but it shows in a certain manner a more mature band. And I don't think mature is definitely always better, because the teenage cheer of Surfer Girl, I really love that. Give me some good teenage cheer. And well, you know, the word teenage cheer brings me actually to the next record on the list. Nevertheless, Surf's Up, beautiful record, number 4, love it. But teenage cheer, I'll continue my story there. And that's the number 3 on this list. And I was really happy to find this. Also a British pressing. I found it in Amsterdam in a store. And I never listened to this record as a whole until I found this pressing. And it has so many great songs. It is the cheerful teenage Beach Boys, but it's a cheerful teenage Beach Boys with loads of great songs, great melodies. Do You Wanna Dance? Under the Moonlight. Help Me Rhonda, help me Rhonda, dance. Oh, it has so many great songs. And I actually also love the ending, because on the ending you hear just a dinner conversation of the Beach Boys, which is kind of like this. It gives a sense of who are these guys, what are they doing, what are they talking about. These days it wouldn't end up on a record, it would be put on YouTube. But to have that as a part of this record, just gives it a nice sense of an era, and it sounds like a relic from an era. And this British pressing sounds great. Not all British Beach Boys pressings are good, by the way, but I'm gonna tell you more about that later. So on number 3, the Beach Boys Today. An amazing record. Love it. Find it, buy it, enjoy it. The number 2. And the number 2 is an interesting one, because there's loads of talks about which version to find, and is it the best version of these sessions. I'm gonna go into that. I think the Beach Boys fans already know what I'm gonna talk about. It's Smiley Smile. And Smiley Smile is awesome. Heroes and Villains, Vegetables. It ends, the record ends with Good Vibrations, which is this amazing sounding song. And I have the mono version here, mastered by Kevin Gray, if I'm right, for Analog Productions. And I have a 70s pressing in stereo here. And normally I have a very strong preference for a mono or a stereo pressing. This album is actually pretty good in both ways. Both mixes are good. I tend to prefer, nevertheless, the mono one, this one, the Kevin Gray one, because it has a bit more punch, it has a bit more power, and the psychedelic elements, they tend to fall more into place of what Brian Wilson might have been thinking about at the time of writing. Now, there are a lot of Beach Boys fans who say, no, go with the Smile Sessions, which is this one. I also found that one in London, per coincidence, in Notting Hill. And this is amazing, because here you can hear the sessions. It's beautiful. This one is really beautiful. Nevertheless, even with that one being more complete and more an idea of what Smiley Smile could have been like, or Smile could have been like, I prefer this one. A lot of the complaints regarding this record are what it could have been, and what the full Brian Wilson version might have sounded like, or what it sounded like in the Brian Wilson Smile version, which came out a couple of years ago. But the moment in time and the way the others in the recording industry, recording record company thought about it are on this record. And you never make an album alone as a band. The influence of others does count. And it accounts for a very good record. It might not be the full Brian Wilson idea, but how bad is that? There were others involved, and this record is great. And I do not want to soil that experience with all the talk about what it might have been like. This one, especially the Analog Productions master, it's awesome. It's awesome in stereo. It's awesome in mono. Number 1, easy pick. It's not gonna be a surprise to anyone. It's Pet Sounds, and Pet Sounds is gorgeous. Pet Sounds is one of the best albums ever made. It has, God only knows what I'd be without you. I know there's an answer. The Sloop John B. It's a cover, Sloop John B, and they did it marvelous. I just wasn't made for these times, which sounds like it's the brother song to In My Room. Brian Wilson is so open here. It's so beautiful. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous record. It's a masterpiece. Even non-Beach Boys fans should get this. And it was also the first record I started listening to, and I started to understand what they were about. I hate the cover art. I know it's a terrible cover, but it's a musical masterpiece. One of the best records ever made. Clearly one of the best records from the 60s. This is the mono pressing by Analog Productions. I've heard 70s pressings and 60s pressings. The original sound of this record isn't that good. So I advise, and this is by the way another production pressing, it's good. But it's the mono one, but anyone, I advise them to listen to this one. Analog Productions stereo pressing. This has the full sound the way I imagine it should have sounded without all the equalizing that the original pressings have. This is a stellar sounding record. Analog Productions, thank you very much the way you made Pet Sounds sound. Awesome album, awesome record, and this made me fall in love with the Beach Boys. So that was my list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please leave a comment below and let's discuss.